Hello, friends. Welcome back. We're going to talk about Bubble's updates to their RFP system. Very happy about this. Very happy that Bubble has finally shown some love to the RFP system that they put in place. RFP stands for Request for Proposal. So the concept, or whatever, if you're not familiar, is that anybody can go to the RFP website, bubble.io/RFP, and submit a request for agencies to bid on a project. Same thing like Upwork or Fiverr, any of those sites. Bubble just has their own site that goes directly to the agencies that are set up on the Bubble agency account. So I actually want to talk a little bit about both of those things. Kind of do an overview of the Bubble agency account for those that may not be as familiar with it. I've been working with the agency account for probably over a year or two now, and there's a lot of benefits to it that I think are almost hidden. I don't know whether that's on purpose or not, but there's not a tremendous amount of info on it. There is a little blurb. So if you go, to give you an example, if you go to Bubble's pricing page, let me share my screen. If you go to Bubble's pricing page, you don't even see it here, right? You see these four options. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see if you build sites and apps for your clients, our agency subscription lets your team use all paid features while you develop your application. So this is the plan if you want to build apps for clients, if you want to do client work. But even here, it's kind of like, you'd have to scroll down a bit to see it. It's not like, I don't know why they don't bucket it kind of to the side here and with another, maybe it's too much going on here. But in any event, it's a little hidden here. And even this sentence here, all the paid features, there are a couple of paid features that are missing from the agency plan. That I'll call out later. But the reason I'm even bringing this up at all is that the RFP system and the agency plan are kind of intermingled, which isn't obvious. It's not an obvious thing. So this is the notification that went out 4 days ago. Reaching out to let you know changes in the RP system. We're excited to be updating the project submission form and introducing job request filtering so you can control what hits your inbox. So this is speaking to the agency, somebody with an agency account. They're putting some filters around what hits your inbox, which is a good thing. Added the new following inputs into the RFP submission forms: project type, scoping, response validation, budget, location. Right, so these are the specs that the client would put into the form. Now, the form before was a little bit easier to put in, so there was a lot of spam coming through there. So I'm pretty excited that they've added these fields and made the process a little bit more complex to do. I actually wish there was more complexity in it. Not that I want to make people's lives harder, but there was so much spamming going on from the prospect side and so much autoresponders going on from the agency side that it was pretty useless at one point, right? And I think these changes that they've made are for the better. And they even call that out here. email moderation, access to Bubble job requests will be revoked if you send automated emails. So this is speaking specifically to the agencies who have been sending automated emails and just kind of blasting. Because what happened was you would submit a request for proposal as a client, and you get like 50 emails, just autoresponders, which was, like, I understand the reason to automate some of your tasks, but how do you, as a client, how do you discern which agencies are going to be good or help you and really care about your project if every response that you got is, hey, look at us, we're great, we do no code, here's some links to the projects that we've worked on, here's a link to my Calendly, book a slot. It's kind of low effort. So they've called out that the request, you're not going to be able to, I guess the Bubble will revoke your rights as an agency if you send automated emails directly from the to the when somebody submits the RFP. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. And I think I want to submit one too and just run that and see if we're still getting the autoresponders. I want to test that out. But let's go back and talk a little bit about the. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's actually start with that. I think that might be a better way to go. Let's just start with posting a job request. Let's see what happens here. So I'm already logged into my agency account. So it's auto-populating some of my info. So this was just one form with like 5 fields on one page. So it was really easy to just put like stupid information in there. All right, so scope. All right, so project scope, new or ongoing. So so this is for the people that, are starting from the ground up. They don't have anything built, or this is maybe someone that is building already. You got small, quick, and straightforward tasks, well-defined projects, large or longer, complex initiatives. Let's see here. All right, so this is the project description. I'm glad that they moved this to the kind of an open field. The budgets are always a little bit stupid because nobody knows what to put in here. They made it like a minimum of $100, and honestly, the budget was not very helpful. I think from the agency side, there was really no purpose in adding a budget. It's just always wrong. It was always a guess, and people may disregard your RFP because the budget was way off topic, but that may not have been the right budget. And I just think making that field mandatory before you even, if you're new to this kind of stuff, you really don't know what to put in there. So I think that's a change for the better. I'm going to just put test RFP to see if I get auto responses. So this is a little bit different, right? You got the hourly rate, the fixed fee. Let's go for hourly rate. $60 an hour. Again, if you're submitting this as a first time builder or client or prospect or startup founder, like, you're really not going to know the answer to. I mean, you may know what your budget is, but you have very little context for how much your project is going to cost. Let's put $24,500. And then you can submit some additional information here. So let's see if coaching. Okay, so that's sent. Now I'm going to go to the agency and see if that went through. All right, so this is the one that I just submitted. Nope, that's not it. Well, this is how that information comes through. So maybe they are, let's see if, I want to see if that one that I just submitted actually goes through. So maybe they are filtering these, because these used to come up straight away. But even the quality of the RFPs that are coming through in the last few days, I noticed have been better, right? So I sent out this tweet a while back when I was frustrated with this. So I was actually tracking these for a while and seeing how much of them were spam. And in 5 days, 101 RFPs were submitted to Bubble, and 72 of them were spam. And the consensus was, no, this is not worth tracking. This is crap. But even looking at through these from the last few day, well, see, this is an example of crap. So they're still getting through. But I've noticed that the new very small project, these look, there's not as many, there's not as much spam as there was with the older system. I think simply because there's more steps to it and it's not just one page and one form and 5 inputs. So this looks like Bubble RFP submitted. Thank you for posting a request for proposals for agencies acting above you. Interested agencies will follow up privately with you. Please note that none of these agencies are affiliated with Bubble and cannot help finding the proposal. Okay. So is this mine? Yeah. Okay. So this does go through. So they're not limiting it by any means in terms of what you can submit. These are still going through. All right. So I've got one auto responder. We'll see how many come through. Yep, here's another one. The problem with this is that you can tell that, like these responses, they didn't read the agency. I mean, they didn't read the RFP that I submitted. And that's what I think frustrates prospects when they're submitting to this tool. What I want to talk a little bit about is the agency plan, and just kind of like what I think if you are interested in freelancing in Bubble, there is a it is, I find it to be worth it. It's 71. If you pay monthly, it's $78. It works out to like $84 US per month. And I think the biggest benefit of it is that you can try plugins for free. And that's not advertised anywhere here, right? Even on the page where they describe the agency plan, they don't even mention plugins. Right? They don't mention it here, which is one of like the best features of the plan, in my opinion, is that you can test out the paid plugins for free, and they only charge you when you transfer the plan to a non-agency paid account. So that I think is tremendously helpful. So I'll do an example of that. Like you can see here, like this plan. So I think another thing that's important to note about the agency plan is that like it's kind of like it's done at the account level and the app level, which is a little bit different. So if you're on the personal plan, for example, that's an app, like that's paid. That's a paid plan that's specific to an app. Whereas the agency plan, you kind of have these settings in your Bubble account, right? If you go to your my account, and you can see that like receive RFPs is an option. You'll be listed on the Bubble agency page, and now they have all of these filters coming in, which is this is all new. So that's cool. So you have these configurations to set there, and then inside the app, when you're in a specific app that is part of inside the agency account, you have the option of agency here. So you can put this on an agency plan just like you would on a personal or the free, or if you have an instructor account, the instructor one. So this is and once you're on here now, if I go to the plugin tab, let's do Apex charts. So $160 for this plugin. That's probably one of the more expensive plugins on Bubble. Apex charts is good. It is a good plugin though. I'm using this for a few of my apps. You can add this plugin for free as the app is on the agency plan. Keep in mind that the owner will have to subscribe to the plugin when they use this app in production. Right? So that's how it works with the paid plugins. They let you test them out. Now, what you can't do on the agency account, you can deploy. So here they say, where was that? Full feature access. Maybe we should just go down this list here. Transferring apps. This is another helpful thing here. Yeah, the ability to hand the app off and transfer it to other accounts, to transfer it to your client account. So basically what will happen is you'll be building in your agency account, and you'll add the client as a collaborator to the app so that they have access to it. But they don't own it yet, right? So you own it as the agency. And then once you're ready to release it to them, when you're ready to send it to production, that's when you can transfer it to their account, and they'll need to be on a paid plan. So that's kind of how it works. It gives you as the freelancer or agency a little bit more control over the app, or not control over the app, more control over the when you get paid, right? Because you don't want to, if you're just building on a client's account, they can pretty much revoke your access at any time. So the agency account adds that extra level of security. It's on the agency account, and you have the permissions to transfer that app to your client after they paid you, or however you work that out. So there's a little bit more control than working directly in the client's account or having them add you as a collaborator, right? Because they can pull your access at any time. So when developing an app, have access to the free gives you all Bubble features except bulk operations. Except bulk. That's kind of been a pain in my ass where I can't run bulk operations on the agency plan. Handoff: when you deliver the app, the user subscribes to the necessary plan in the settings tab based on your features. I think when they say the user, I think they mean the client, right? If that's the intended purpose here. You don't count against your client's collaborator limits. So a 10-person agency can support an app without requiring. This is a great feature right here. This is awesome. So you know how if you go to the collaboration tab, if you're on a free plan and you go here, it'll give you some error saying oh, you need to be on a paid plan to add this number of collaborators. When you're collaborating or you're adding in somebody with an agency plan, it doesn't account against that limit. So you can get as many agencies as you want in your app as collaborators, and that doesn't count against the limit. So that's actually very helpful. Let me get rid of some of these tabs. We don't need all this. All right, so the agency plan is unique in that you are charged for each Bubble account designer linked to an agency. Yeah, that can get expensive a little bit. I don't know. There is a need if you're working with a team. I wish there was a way to separate permissions, set up permissions for different agency members, but fortunately they haven't rolled that out. Full feature. The agency subscription lets use all paid features while you test your application. Your client should upgrade to the plan you tell them is necessary when you deliver your application to function properly. This is a little bit tricky only because it's hard to know which plan you're going to need. And it's hard. It usually I think 9 out of 10 use cases can probably get away with the professional plan, which is $90 a month. If you've got, users, if you've got users and you're using a significant amount of workflows and capacity, you could probably get away with a professional plan. The plan sections of the settings tab, but I think even that, when deciding that, you kind of have to hit the limits of the plan to know that you need to buy up. And you'll get notifications and stuff if you're like hitting capacity, that you need to buy up into a more expensive plan. Bubble users on your agency subscription do not count as collaborators on apps. We talked about that already. Domain and branding, you can use custom domains while developing the application. The Bubble banner will not be displayed in the development version of your application so that you can demo it to clients without white labeling. I don't know if that's true. I think that, so if I go to the live environment here, this isn't deployed. I can deploy it. Test, deploy. I can deploy it. So this does go into production, but when I'm in the live environment, let's get rid of this. And I preview this. This is definitely one thing, right? So this, you have to have the, it's password protected. So that gets a little bit annoying, but I understand why Bubble does that. Username. Defaults to username password. Hang on. If I go back to the general tab and limit access to, I think I have to do this, but it's blocked off. Why is it blocked off? Everyone can view. Define a password, probably restrict users who haven't changed their password. I don't know why it's not letting me do this. It's weird. But in any event, this is probably the, for production, that this is the limitation. This is why like you wouldn't want to build, like deploy an app and have users test it when you're on the agency plan, because they get this password protection. And I'm pretty sure if I was to log in right now, I'd also get the built-on Bubble banner at the bottom. I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but this is more the annoying part, that you have to be signing in. So this is how they kind of get around people using the agency plan as a production plan. People like using it for production purposes is by putting this password thing here. Transfer outs. Once the application is ready to be delivered, you can invite your clients as editors and give them admin rights, and they can subscribe to a paid plan for the app to allow them to run it in production. You will remain an editor of the app until the client explicitly removes your editing rights. Yeah, so transferring apps is definitely easier if you're on the agency plan. I definitely recommend that if you're doing client work. It is worth the $84 a month, specifically because for me, the biggest value of it is that you have the control, and you can control at what point you transfer that work that you've done to the client. Like, you own it still until you transfer it. And also being able to test paid plugins. Those are the two biggest value adds for me, and why why it's worth it for me to pay the $84 a month to be on the agency plan. And then they just give you some terms there. So yeah, this is pretty much the I think the only thing that they don't call out here is the plugin that you can use, paid plugins, which is a great feature. I don't know why they don't call that out. It's like they want to keep that a secret. The other thing here is the bulk operations in app data. Bulk. Yeah, see, it takes you, like, if you try to do bulk operations on data, it just takes you back here because you're on the agency plan. So that's the only thing that I think they don't let you do on the agency plan is bulk operations, and then deploy without you can't deploy without having that password protection on. All right. So Coming back here, so we are still getting some autoresponders here. We've gotten 4 since we submitted this. We studied your case on Bubble RFP. I don't think you have. I don't think you have, Maria. Because if you did, you would have seen it was a test. Moreover, we offer 7 days trial opportunities for new customers. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if they enforce that policy around no auto responding. I really hope that they do, because that's frustrating. It's frustrating from both ends. The auto responding and the spam that's coming through. I think it degrades the what this could be, and it could be a good exchange um, for agencies and people who are looking for bubble agencies. I found a few clients from the RFP system, and they wound up being long-term clients. Coaching, at least 3 or 4 people came from the RFP system, and they wanted to just keep doing ongoing coaching. A lot of times that turns into do it for you development work. In the beginning, people start out on Bubble and they're building themselves, and it's but once they get to a certain point and they actually have users and they're engaging with those users, they need an extra pair of development hands. So a lot of times those coaching clients that you get are will turn into paid development work at some point, because they need help. They need an extra pair of hands. They also like, if they feel more comfortable if they're newer to Bubble and you're someone that's been working in it for a while. It gives them a bit of comfort to like have someone just say like, hey, can you just take a look at this? Am I going in the right direction here? So those coaching those coaching engagements that I've done have actually probably they've been very valuable. And I also even appreciate that they're taking the time to learn Bubble too, so they understand what, at least partially, what kind of work we're going to be doing for them, and they have some semblance of a technical understanding of how the app is going to work. So I'm always interested in working with somebody that's interested in the technical side of things, because it's going to make my life easier, and we can work more as a collaboration as opposed to just, hey, build this feature. Okay, client, here's your feature. And like that I know that that's the traditional way, agency client relationship, like the way that's normally set up. But I think this changes that. I think Bubble changes that a lot, where you can educate the people that you're working with on what you're doing, and they can understand like, all right, this is why it's hard to create a timeline around and a budget around a project, because there's just so much to it, and so many um, hurdles that we're going to come into that we're going to have to solve together. You're going to get more information, the client is going to get more information, which is going to change your development cycle and your timeline that you've set up. So the extent to which they're interested in learning about this side of it, and I think that goes for the agency side too. I think in the same way, it goes both ways. The agency should have an interest in what the client is building and what problem they're solving for people, who is the audience. um and I think that just makes for better collaboration. Throw some questions in the chat if you are watching, about the agency plan or the new RFP system. Um, what else did I want to say? I think that's all I wanted to say about this tonight. Heads up that JJ is selling Jump Studio. I don't know if you've all have seen this, but this is an app built on Bubble that has paying users, and he's selling it. So if you're interested, hit him up, JJ Englert. But yeah, that's my take on the new RFP system. I like that they've added those new filters. It still seems like we're getting the autoresponders, but I assume they're going to address that. It's probably going to take a little bit for them to get that underway. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I will be around tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. All right, catch you later.